Do you sometimes wonder if your husband knows exactly how much you really appreciate him? Do you feel that just saying the old traditional thank you is just not enough to communicate your deepest appreciation for what he does for you and for your family? Hi, I'm Dr. Denise Moitinho for Motivation and Growth. My husband and I are the authors of The Dream Home, How to Create an Intimate Christian Marriage book. So I would love for you to check it out. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and watch all the other wonderful videos we have for you. In this video, I will share with you a few tips on how to show appreciation to your husband in a way that will make him feel really happy and appreciated. Tip number 1, treat your husband like an adult. Avoid talking to your husband the same way you talk to your children. Remember, when a parent talks to a child, the parent enters this prescriptive mode. The parent prescribes actions and may tell a child, this is how you do this. Let me show you how to wash the dishes. Let me show you how to organize your closet. So a parent prescribes action by saying you should do this, you should do that, you should not do this, you should do that. Just remember that in marriage, parenting your husband is not one of your goals. It should not be one of your goals, in fact. Your goal is to empower your spouse and encourage him. So by treating your husband as an adult, you will empower him and will show him that you appreciate his contribution to the marriage. Tip number 2, know what makes your husband feel appreciated. This idea is based on the work of Gary Chapman, who believes that there are 5 love languages people speak. Chances are that your husband speaks one of these languages and feel loved in a unique way. So words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch are some of those languages. So I believe that when you learn your husband's primary love language, it is easier to show appreciation to him. For instance, if his primary love language is physical touch, giving him a hug followed by a few words such as thank you may speak to him volumes, because now you're combining your words plus the fact that he likes physical touch, and that's his love language. Now, let's say if your husband speaks the acts of service love language, if you give him a glass of cold water after he mows the yard, followed with the words thank you, that also, see, you have the integration. You see the integration of those two things, saying thank you, but also paying attention to his love language. Tip number 3, encourage your husband and decrease your criticism. We need to understand that criticism happens in all marriages. And the problem is when criticism is the only thing happening in the marriage, when there's too much of it. Perhaps you criticize your husband because you want him to stop some kind of behavior, or because he's not good at something, at a skill. Let's say he's not good at singing, so you criticize him when he sings, or handiwork, cooking, decorating, etc. You name it. However, keep in mind that criticism needs to be avoided. Why? Because criticism feeds negative emotion, and it may make your husband become defensive and even avoid interacting with you and discussing topics that are important to both of you. So above all, it makes your husband feel unappreciated. Doesn't make him feel appreciated for what he does, what he says, because he encounters criticism too often. So replace criticism with encouragement, and that's the best way to show appreciation to your husband. Tip number 4, be your best self to your husband. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do it by practicing self-care. When you take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you are not only looking at your best interest, but you are also looking at your husband's best interest. You are presenting your husband with your best self. So it is a gentle way of saying, because I appreciate you, I'm taking care of myself, right? I want to give you my best self. So you may want to look at one of our videos on self-care. We got a lot of great tips in that video for you. Tip number 5, show agape love to your husband. This is the highest type of love because it is not self-centered and not self-focused. On the contrary, it focuses on the other person. So you may want to ask some simple questions when you are trying your best to show agape love to your husband. Here's one question. How can I meet my husband's need? Here's another one. What can I do today that will bless my husband? And finally, what can I do today that will show love to him in a special way? Besides saying thank you, what are some of the things that you do to show appreciation to your spouse, to your husband? Please share in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if this video was helpful to you, please like it, share it, and subscribe. See you in the next video.